The 2025-2026 Premier League season is approaching almost halfway. And Arsenal Football Club, for the first time in 21 years, looks like a Premier League champion already. Welcome to Spotlight News Football Show. And it is another episode of our weekend review. I am your host, Chimelum Henry. And I have here with me a Chelsea fan and a guest who will be analyzing some of these matches this weekend. Mr. Barry, you are welcome.
Well done, sir.
Before we proceed to the matches that I want us to preview, I will list some of the fixtures across the major leagues in Europe that concerns the big clubs. In Spain, La Liga, Barcelona is at home against Alaves. Atletico Madrid will be hosting Real Oviedo. Girona will be hosting Real Madrid. In Italy is Juventus Cagliari, Milan Lazio, Pisa Inter, Atalanta Fiorentina, and Roma Napoli. In France, it is Monaco PSG, Marseille Toulouse, Lyon and Nantes. In Bundesliga, Leverkusen Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich St. Pauli, Mönchengladbach and Leipzig. Now, in England, we have Manchester City at home to Leeds United. Tottenham Hotspur will be hosting Fulham. Crystal Palace will be at home against Man United. Chelsea will be hosting Arsenal. Sunderland, Bournemouth. Aston Villa, Wolves. West Ham, Liverpool. So these are some of the weekend fixtures. But now let's proceed to our weekend preview. The fixture that I want us to preview. Mr. Barry, let us start from La Liga because I want us to preview two matches there. First, I want us to start with is Barcelona and Alaves. Few weeks ago, the gap between Barcelona and Real Madrid, was about 4 to 5 points. But this weekend, Barcelona will be going to this weekend, match 1 point behind Real Madrid. How impressed have you been, since you've been watching Barcelona this season? And in this feature with Alaves, knowing the fact that Barcelona they will be playing, in their newly opened stadium at the new camp against the Alaves. What are you expecting, from Barcelona?
Okay, thank you so much. Their last league match, they did very, very well. It was an impressive match, although it was a bit difficult for them, but at least they pick up the 3 points at the end of 90 minutes. And tomorrow, because the table now is now, there's no assurance from between the Barcelona or the Real Madrid yet on who to go with the trophy or who to top the table, because the table now is waiting for who to make a little mistake, dropping points or sharing points, and the other person keep going or do the same thing. So Barcelona this season, they are not on
Yeah, it's
their
not like
peak.
Barcelona, last season.
They're not in their
Most of footballing fans fell in love with.
Their form is dropping. If they pick up their form this week, the following week they drop their form. So now they are not yet stable, and we are expecting them to at least do something to their squad. The players should play that, kind of come together and do something that will make them know that they have a battle ahead. Thank you so much.
Okay, in line with what you said, I think my own little contribution, in this, preview concerning Barcelona and Alaves. No, Barcelona last season, when their new coach, came in, they were on fire starting from, even week one. So they were a very attractive team to watch. But coming to this season, I think they have been struggling a little bit just because of so many injuries that they have been having. Rafinha has been out sometime. Lamine Yamal, even their new goalkeeper that they bought has been out. Then in midfield too, they've been missing some of their players, so their form hasn't been the one that their fans, are in love with, and coupled with the fact that even this midweek they lost 3-0 to Chelsea in their Champions League match. But being at home, in front of over 100,000 football fans, in Nou Camp against Alaves, that is another advantage for them. And knowing the fact that they are just 1 point behind Real Madrid, but La Liga, considers both the points and the head-to-head. So as it stands now, Madrid are ahead in those two scenarios. So I believe that it is a matter that Barcelona, because they are playing, in front of their home fans, I believe that they are going to come out on top. So, Mr. Barry, the next match I want us to preview in La Liga is Girona and Real Madrid. No, say Real Madrid, since Alonso came in, has been on fire, especially when it comes to La Liga. And the form of Kylian Mbappe, he's scoring left, right, and center. Even during the Maybe Champions League, I scored 4 goals. What are you expecting from Madrid in this match? Knowing the fact that they are playing away from home. So what do you expect from there? And again, they are 1 point ahead of Barcelona, and they know that anything below winning will now mean that once Barcelona beats Alaves, now they will not be, leapfrogged in the La Liga table. So what are you expecting from Real Madrid?
Okay, before that, I would say big congratulations to Real Madrid and especially Kylian Mbappe for his outstanding
His fine
form
form, his goal scoring
during
form this season
the
has been
Champions
fantastic.
League. And before the Champions League, last weekend, they played a draw, of which it wasn't
They had
impressive.
a 2-2 draw
It
with
wasn't
Elche.
impressive. They draw that game from behind. That draw comes from behind because they were already losing the game. But to me, I think it's a preparation for the last weekend midweek match in the Champions League that made them to do such. But it's not enough for a big team to prepare for some matches and also look down on some things when it comes to competitions like this. Now, it could have been a very big stress for Barcelona to meet up the 4 points ahead, but because of the lags in their last match, they couldn't meet up taking the 3 points, and they were able to struggle and end up going home sharing the points. And come again this weekend, tomorrow, they'll be facing Girona, and Girona is another strong side that disturbs Real Madrid when it comes to having playing Madrid either in their home or away. But I'm expecting Real Madrid to pick up a different form altogether. They have gotten what they want from the Champions League, and let them come to the La Liga league to get another thing from there, because if they share any points again, Barcelona can do the magic and pick up the table lead from them. So I just expect Alonso and his players, and also support from the fans, so that the players can do well while playing the match tomorrow.
Well, yeah, it is a good analysis from you, but I want to add a little concerning Girona and Real Madrid. Girona last season surprised football fans all over the world.
Yeah.
They finished in the Champions League spot and they qualified for Champions League. But this season, they have been struggling this season. No doubt, yeah, maybe in recent matches now that they're picking up points. But the surprising package is Real Madrid. Alonso, yes, he did well in Bayer Leverkusen,
Yeah.
playing a three-back line, 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3, depending on how you want to see the formation. Where he was able to win the German Bundesliga, playing on it. If not for Atalanta that defeated them in that Europa League final by 3-0, and they would have won the whole season, without losing a match. Now coming to Real Madrid, a club with a lot of pressure, and coming to replace the legendary Carlo Ancelotti wasn't going to be an easy task. But since he came to Real Madrid, he has been able to adapt, to Real Madrid, and because he was a former player in Real Madrid, that gave him another experience, coming back as a manager. When you know a football club, you know how they operate. So if you're coming back to manage the club, you will still understand the system now that the club is being operated. So coming to Real Madrid, he has been doing fantastically well, and they have been showing a lot of consistency. But thanks to Kylian Mbappe, who has been scoring, for Real Madrid left, right, and center. But for me, that Real Madrid team, there are two players that since Alonso, become their manager, that he has been picking, week in, week out. One of them is Aurelion Tchouameni, who is a defensive midfielder that sometimes can play as one of the center backs, depending on the formation that you want to implement that day. And the second player is Adagula. Adagula, before Alonso came in, was a bit part player, but under Alonso, he has become a very important player for Xabi Alonso. And kudos, for the coach, for him to believe in Adagula, and he has been getting the results from the guys' creativity in midfield. So this Girona match, I believe, is another match for Real Madrid to pick up, the 3 points, and maintain their top in La Liga. So I don't expect anything less than 3 points for Real Madrid. But in football, you can never say never. So that is it now for La Liga. So I want us to dive into Serie A. And I want us to maybe just preview only one match, which is the biggest match in Serie A this weekend: Roma and Napoli. Roma, as we know, we are on this live show. Is top of Serie A table. Their new coach that came from Atalanta, Gian Piero Gasperini, has been fantastically well, as a Roma coach this season. I think they haven't drawn any. I think they have lost only one match this season, if I'm not mistaken. Then on the other side, now Napoli, who are the defending champion, their form has been up and down. To the extent that even their coach, in one of the interviews that he had, said that they bought a lot of players, and it is affecting his team selection. But the player that has consistently delivered for Napoli is Scott McTominay, a former Man United midfielder. Now, this week is another opportunity for Roma to extend their lead on Napoli, to leapfrog them in the table. So, what are you expecting, in this match between Roma and Napoli?
A match like this, it's not something to say much about it because it's going to be a very strong match. He said when two elephants are fighting, the grass suffers, and it's gonna be a very strong match. You see, Napoli we are good in the Champions League matches. Meanwhile, Roma were also good in the Europa League matches over the midweek. And the both sides did very well. They were absolutely good. They were in their fine forms. And coming to their league, they are also doing well. Now, the both are fighting for who to top this table. If Roma could maintain their win, they top the table, they maintain their stand, and if Napoli can come up with 3 points also, they pick up the lead from there. And the two coaches are good. Coming to the Napoli coach, we know his records when it comes to this kind of games. He's always the type that is after the big games. He loves winning the big games.
Manager.
And we expect him to do a different tactics tomorrow because he's a man that changes tactics when he sees the big club, the big game, the big match, where you expect him not to. In fact, where you're expecting the poor results from him, that is where he will come and display. But when it comes to a smaller team where you are expecting much from him, sometimes they flop in. But tomorrow it's not gonna be easy for the both side because the both side I believe they are up for this title race. So tomorrow, as I said, nothing really decide for who is going to come up at the top of the table.
Yeah, well, in support of what you said, this Roma and Napoli match, is supposed to be an interesting match, but I just have the feeling that it is a match that is going to be very, very tight.
Very tight.
Because I don't think that the both teams would want to lose the match. So that's why I think that the match is going to be very, very close in terms of calling the result. But we will see after the match who comes out on top.
Yeah.
You understand? So, but before we leave Serie A, I want us to, preview one other match there, AC Milan and Lazio. AC Milan had their former coach, Mas Allegri, a man that won the Serie A title for them, I think, in 2011 before he was sacked. And Napoli also have their former manager, Maurizio Sarri, that left for Chelsea. Then after his, tenure in Chelsea, he went to Napoli before he now went back to Lazio. And AC Milan under Mas Allegri, with the evergreen Luka Modric in midfield, has been doing fantastically well in the Serie A. I think they sit just behind Roma, in the log. So with the experience of these two managers, Maurizio Sarri as the Lazio manager and Mas Allegri as AC Milan manager, what are you expecting from this fixture between Milan and Lazio?
It's going to be a tough match. I can remember those days when Sarri was a Chelsea coach. We were saying Sarri football, and it was
Yeah.
a tactical.
When it came to Sarri ball,
Sarri ball, it was a tactical game. Sometimes you get confused of how he's setting his formations and the rest of it. Sometimes he comes up with a different formation in the first half, and in the second half, a different formation altogether. And in fact, opponents sometimes get confused. But when it comes to AC Milan, that team is built. In fact, they are built on a solid rock. Those players, they are ever ready to do anything. And since the return of Christian Pulisic from his injury, the guy is good, scoring his goals in his fine form. Uh, Raf and the rest of them, Christian, this other person, Loftus-Cheek, and the minister of midfielders. When it comes to midfield, one of the world class, the best, Luka Modric, who distributes the pass, who controls the midfield, a very good leader when it comes to a team. And I believe with his experience and the other players, they will try to do something better tomorrow, because you can't have these quality players in your team and expect them not to do well. Although at times it happens, but everybody is aiming, topping the table. Because now, if it comes to this Serie A table now, the gap between the first, second, third, almost fourth is not that big.
yeah.
And now, once you made a mistake, it's either you lose the 3 points or you share the 1 point. The next person pick up from where you made that your mistake. And if you keep on a consistent mistake, you lose up the title race. So now everybody is sitting up, they bet up, make sure that the title race is what they are after. So tomorrow, I believe the two sides is going to play well.
Okay, it's good. Now let's come back to England, and this weekend in England, the biggest fixture in England is a London derby between first and second Chelsea. They will be hosting Arsenal, and I want us to start with that match. You are a Chelsea fan,
No doubt.
and Arsenal this season, for me personally, this is my own personal opinion,
Yeah.
is the best team currently in England now, the best squad, and that is the reason why they are where they are now. But because for like 3 seasons they've been finishing second, some fans still believe that they will not still, go over the line by winning the Premier League this season. But I am one of those fans that believe that this season, that Arsenal, is going to win this Premier League title, and they have been showcasing it week in, week out, with their performances both in Europe and domestically. Now, this match is going to be another test for them because already they are 6 points ahead of Chelsea, which means if they win Chelsea, they will now extend it to now 9 points. But if they lose to Chelsea, the point will now drop to three points. But now they will be going away from home. but in recent seasons, they're getting results against Chelsea. So you as a Chelsea fan, how do you see this match, and who do you think is going to come out on top? Even though you as a Chelsea fan will believe that your team will come out on top, but I want to know, yeah, honest analysis. Who do you think is going to come out on top in this future? And what do you expect your club, Chelsea, to do differently in this fixture to other previous, ones that you've been meeting Arsenal?
Okay, thank you so much. This is a very strong, like a strong game to analyze because the both sides are in one of their best form. But now, one is urging the other. Talking about Arsenal. Yes, I'm a Chelsea fan, but I must tell you the truth. Arsenal are in their fine form. In all wings, they are playing well. In all the wings, they are playing well. From the keeper to the defenders, from the defenders to their midfielders, from their midfielders to their wingers, to the attackers, they are doing perfectly well. But in their bench, in fact, they have one of the best benchers. Because when you look at their bench and who you are facing on the pitch, it's as if you haven't started. But that's by the way. Before I go further, I have to congratulate Arsenal for the benefit of doubt over the midweek because so many people doubted that game.
Why do you think that is a benefit of that? See,
No,
Arsenal has been improving
I
in
understand.
recent years. Last season, you saw what they did in Champions League. So winning Bayern Munich in front of their home fans shouldn't be a surprise.
Let me explain why I said a benefit of doubt because yes, so many people know that Arsenal and their fine form, likewise Bayern Munich, but the chances of them winning that match was not given to them by football lovers.
It's not football lovers. You say some football lovers.
But let me say some. Let me that was some. Football lovers never expected Arsenal to see a draw.
Wow.
Not to talk of getting a win, including me.
It is subjective because
including me, but it was a very big surprise. If it's when it comes to giving somebody a birthday gift, it comes like a surprise, surprise, and all of a sudden the person saw the unveil what was covered before, and it was a very big kudos to Arsenal, and the same thing to Chelsea. So Chelsea surprised both their fans and other rival fans because we never expected that 3 points from Barcelona. They were hyping Barcelona and the rest of it, but they were humbled by the players. Even before the red card, we had a goal denied, the offside handball. We also have a own goal that gave us the lead before the red card. But that's by the way. Now, coming to the Premier League over the weekend, where we are facing the table toppers, and it's going to be another stop match. I don't know what to say because Chelsea might come up. Maresca is a player, a coach that comes with different tactics when it comes to some matches, mostly big matches. The matches don't expect him to pick up the points. That is where you see him struggle and do one or two magic. And also Arteta is another coach. These two coaches learned from the one of the biggest master in coaching history, who is Pep Guardiola, which is their boss. And tomorrow the two students meet with their different classes, trying to perform a different miracle on Sunday. So my people, I can't say much about these two clubs, but on Sunday, after the 90 minutes, we know who goes home with the 3 points or even sharing the points together.
Okay. The next match and the final match we'll be previewing, is the one involving our current Premier League champion, Liverpool. Liverpool, after the transfer market they had, most football fans, I inclusive, expected them, to be competing, this season again by winning the Premier League title. But after 12 rounds of matches, they sit at the bottom half. and we are seeing how they are struggling. West Ham, on the other hand, have been, in the relegation zone throughout the season. But since the appointment of Nuno Espirito Santo, they have started picking up, some points, and they will be at home against Liverpool. Now, having watched Liverpool these past weeks, you've seen their flaws. They have been losing matches. In fact, for the first time since 1971, Liverpool have lost three consecutive matches by three or more goals. This is the first time it has happened in over 50 something years. And their coach, Arne Slot, who won the league last season, is under pressure. How is he going to get the answer that he needs from his players by winning matches again? Because in their last 12 matches, they have lost 9, which is a very bad form for the
Very
Premier
bad.
League champion. So how do you think Liverpool is going to approach this game with West Ham, knowing the fact that they need positive result, not even draw, winnings, for them to save their season and save their coach from this pressure that is under?
Okay, this is another is a mini. Let me call it a mini strong match. Very mini hard game tomorrow because West Ham on their own side, they are doing everything possible to come out from the relegation zone, and also Liverpool are also trying their best to meet up, if not the top of the table, or to meet up any of the European matches, games, to at least against the next season. But now tomorrow is an opportunity for Liverpool to pick up a point because West Ham are not in that fine form. Likewise them. But the surprise there is if Liverpool allows West Ham to give them the lead first, they might end up losing this game also. And it's going to be another big blow for the club. And also the fans are now doubting them coming to play any European games come next season. Because instead of them to have a consistent form, like picking up from where they're now having a consistent backwardness. They are now losing the games in the league, in the Champions League over the midweek. They lost their game, and now it's not an impressive performance for this side. Their coach is not doing that well. The players also. Are we putting blames on these two sides? But it's going to be a bit easier for them because on the other, compare the two sides, they are a bit in the advantage to West Ham. But if they sleep and West Ham takes the lead, they might find it difficult to even go home with a point from that game.
Okay, yeah, it's good, your own analysis, but I want to add, little based on what you said. Liverpool, prior to this, start of the season, I made them one of my favorites,
Yeah.
to retain this Premier League title. Not just because of the players they bought, but because how they won the league last season, and they have been, up there for some years. So I felt like maybe with the players that they bought, they will still be able to compete, with the likes of Arsenal and Man City. But unfortunately, after 12 rounds of matches, they are sitting at 12th on the log, which is unacceptable for any Premier League, current champion. And the struggles, is there for every football fan to see. Liverpool fans, Man U fans, Chelsea fans to see. Last season, they had a base that helped them win the league. Defensively, they were strong. In midfield, they were fantastic. The attack wasn't that good enough, but they had options. They let Diogo Jota and the Luis Diaz that left for Bayern Munich. But the team last season was very fantastic. Now, coming to this season, they now went, on a transfer spree, just like their former player, Jimmy Carragher, will always say that this transfer market, reminded him of Real Madrid's transfer market. In a season where you spent 80 million pounds on a striker. 2 weeks later, you spent another 125 million pounds on a striker. This season, Liverpool broke the British transfer record like twice. And the coach, these recent weeks, is finding it difficult to put out a team that will give consistent results and performances. They are struggling in midfield. They are struggling in attack. They are struggling defensively. The spine of the team, they are struggling. Their goalkeeper, Alisson Becker, is not always fit. Virgil van Dijk, who is like a rock in their defense, is struggling. And Mo Salah, who is like, the king in the front line, is even struggling. So the problem is obvious for football fans to see. But I think that the coach should find a way to start winning matches again, because if this their slump continues, definitely he might lose his job, because Liverpool, in the standard Liverpool, needs is as a Premier League champion. Even if we don't retain it, but we need to be in Champions League, and where they are now is unacceptable. West Ham has been struggling, but in recent weeks they have been picking up, points, and they have an advantage of hosting Liverpool, who is out of form at home. So it is a dicey match, because you don't even know where the result, will go, whether it will go in favor of Liverpool or West Ham. But after this weekend, we will see. So, Mr. Barry, this match will be the last match that we are going to preview. I want to give you the opportunity of, at least, telling our viewers, some of, the result that, you think that will come out from these fixtures. Once I mentioned the fixture, I just want you to, give them scoreline prediction. So I will start in England, Man City and Leeds United.
Man City is going with the Leeds tomorrow with 2-0.
Okay. Tottenham and Fulham.
It's a strong match. It's a 1-1 draw.
Crystal Palace and Man United.
No doubt now. Crystal Palace goes on with the 3 points tomorrow with 2-0.
Chelsea fan. Chelsea and Arsenal.
What do you expect from us?
Chelsea win.
Chelsea goes, we play 3-1.
Okay. Sunderland Bournemouth.
Another strong match, but Sunderland goes with the lead with just a goal to nothing.
Aston Villa and Wolves.
Aston Villa Wolves are not in a good form, but Aston Villa goes home with the 3 points, 3-0.
West Ham Liverpool.
West Ham Liverpool. It's a 1-1 draw.
Barcelona Alaves.
Barca goes home with the 3 points.
Girona Real Madrid.
Madrid 3-0.
Roma Napoli.
Strong match, but Napoli goes home with the 3 points.
AC Milan and Lazio.
AC Milan 2-0.
Okay. So thank you, viewers, for always listening to us. Visit our social media platforms. We are on Facebook as Spotlight News. We are on X at Spotlight News _. We are on Instagram, Spotlight News NG. On YouTube at Spotlight News NG. And you can also visit our website, www.spotlightnews.com. Like our page, comment,